call this meeting of the HR Committee to order. It's Monday, June 12th. It's about 6:10. We're in Nashua High School North, and Mrs. Oden will call the roll.
Okay. Mrs. Ziem?
Here.
Ms. Hohensee is the alternate?
Here.
Dr. Moritaki? He's not. Oh, he did come. Oh,
Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Welcome, Dr. Moritaki, and Mrs. Oden is here.
Yes. So we have,
Quorum.
all of our members are present, including our alternate. That's great. Before we start this meeting, I'd like to make an announcement for the public, in that I would like you all to know that the HR is going to be a little unorthodox tonight. Most of you are aware that we've had some unusual circumstances in our district. We are not only changing our superintendent, who is, I'm happy to say, with us tonight, Dr. Moseley, here on my left-hand side. We're delighted to have him here. But in addition to changing the superintendent, we are changing both assistant superintendents, which reached down into we had other interim positions that happened as a result of that. And in this process, timing becomes critical, because there is a window through which you normally get most applicants, and that window has somewhat come and gone. School will be out in 2 or 3 days here, and we're lining up quite a few positions. So I want you all to know that this is not our normal procedure. It is not an intent to circumvent the system, but rather it is an attempt to ensure that our district is ready to start school and that we have good, competent people in place. And I personally have interviewed, I believe, all but one of these candidates tonight. And from what I've seen, we're very fortunate to be getting some really worthy candidates that I believe will bring strength and good things to our district. And so I look forward to that. The first of those is because of, as I say, because we were changing the superintendent and both assistant superintendents. Last year, Mr. Ian was appointed as interim principal at Elm Street Middle School. I want to say that I have heard nothing but wonderful things about his efforts at Elm Street Junior High. Those of you who have been in the district for a long time, I think, will recognize, in my view, Elm Street's the most difficult school we have. Junior high is of itself, I believe, a difficult time for our young people. But it is our largest school, and because of the size, because of the age, because of the middle school, if you will, it's a challenging school. And so to say that he stepped in and received rave reviews, I believe is a really good thing. And I'm always happy when we have people who, all of us, I believe, are happy when we have positive people who make positive changes in our district. And so tonight we are nominating, and it is we're making a motion that Ian Atwell be made principal of Elm Street Middle School for the year 2017-18 at an annual salary of $96,750. Can I get a second?
Second.
Having gotten the second, are there questions, comments, concerns? Mr. Atwell is with us tonight, sitting back here. I'm sure he's happy if any of you.
So do we have an opportunity to ask some questions?
He's going to interview.
Is there an interview?
Yes.
So, well, I guess.
That now?
Interviews.
Okay, so I guess then, forgive me, Mr. if you can stumble along with me, that will be proof of your competence. Please come. So that having been said, I open the floor for questions. Well, maybe we want to start by, if you would like to make a few comments, and Dr. Moseley.
Thank you, Mrs. Ziem, for those kind words. In addition to what you said, I also want to just point out that Ian also has the talent. He's provided some leadership over there. He is certainly willing to continue that leadership along with his assistant principal, Kelly Holmes. She couldn't be here tonight, and Ian will talk a little bit about that. So in addition to providing for stability, as you mentioned in your opening statement, I also would like to add that he's also proven that he can take this next step in his career. He's provided the stability that both the administration would value, the parents would value, and more importantly, the students would value. So I'm looking forward to working with him and his leadership team, and certainly the board can have some, if they have some questions that Mr. Atwell can address, we'll be more than happy to do so. Thank you.
That mean you had a question, Howard?
Yeah, definitely do.
I'm sorry.
So, Mr. Atwell, thank you so much for your commitment to the district. I look forward to having you move into the permanent slot.
Thank you.
So now you have governance of the whole thing, the whole 9 yards, as they say. My question for you is, I have a special interest when it comes to CTE, career technical education kinds of things. I know you're in the middle school, and those CTE programs really sit at the high school, but you're still secondary. Mm-hmm. And I also know you have your hands in the STEM things, and I know there are shops over there. I don't know if you still call them shops, tech ed, or whatever it is. But I wish, from my own edification, I'd really like to know more about the preparation that's possible in the middle school to prepare students for when they get to the high schools, that they can legitimately make a CTE decision for their career. In other words, they can come to the high school knowing they're prepared for the work, and secondly, that we're going to have programs that will attract students here, as we are a regional technical high school. People forget that. So I think you have the gist of what I'm asking. I want, just so you know, you have my complete support in any way, shape, or means where I can enable that. You know, and if it's a computer, if it's a desk, if it's, can we get a speaker, or, I mean, anything.
Yeah, thank you.
I wish I could write a check, but anything short of, I can get my
We're
vote
happy
from
to
it.
accept those.
Okay, thank
So no, to answer your question though, I think our guidance department has worked with the Naviance software, helping students kind of plan out what their interests are and what careers might align with those interests. And then our tech ed department, our unified arts department in general, has been really dynamic, really reaching out to their colleagues here at the high school to make kids aware. Just last week, David Farrington, one of our tech ed teachers, had a group come down from the high school to share their robot, and we probably had 100 eighth grade students come down and view that at the end of the day last week. So I think the staff are excited about those connections. We see those as great opportunities for students. We want to see students get into those pipelines, into those channels, so that they're able to engage with the programs up here and obviously go on to college or career where they're going to be able to be engaged and be successful.
So if I may, as a follow-on, so as our process as board unfolds with Dr. Moseley's arrival and what I hope will be a very engaging strategic planning process, that bridge between the middle schools into the high schools, I think, is going to be critical going forward from so many different aspects. So again, please keep the lines of communication open and let us know how we can assist you, and even if it's 2 years out. You know, that's the real planning, is when we start thinking, what are we going to need a year or 2 or 3 out, so we can line that up, so we can put that in the mix for the future. So thank you. I'm excited that you're going to be here. Welcome.
Thank you.
In permanent way.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are there other questions, comments? Mr. Farrington?
Since we're here and we seem to have time, let me just say I'm very happy that this has all been able to be worked out, and that we're going to continue to have Ian and his expertise and experience working for us there at Elm Street. I'm really looking forward to it, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Mrs. Oden?
Yeah, I just want to echo something Mrs. Zeem had said. These are extenuating circumstances for our district, and I think most people in the district realize that. Last year, we did do interviews at Elm Street, and we brought forward the 2 best candidates. We have heard glowing reports about them. They have worked as a very successful team. So I have been one that has been very cautious about making sure jobs get posted. And this was not posted because we look at this as an emergency situation that is important to the stability of our district, and I hope people understand that. But I want to thank Mr. Atwell, too. I've heard nothing but good things about what he's done at Elm Street this year. I know he had a good mentor, and he's put a nice team together. So thank you very much, and congratulations.
Thank you. If I can jump into, speaking of emergency situations, Kelly Holmes had planned to be here tonight. She had a pretty significant medical issue pop up with one of her children, so obviously she needed to go be with him and support him through that. So hopefully we'll get an update from her a little bit later, but she absolutely wanted to be here, and only something very significant would have stopped her from being here. So I wanted to share that with you all.
Well, there's two things. As I recall, and you refresh my memory hopefully, but I believe your background was in science.
Yes, ma'am.
And as Mr. Kaufman was talking about the CTE program, and then you were talking about the STEM program, and I went to the STEM celebration, whatever you might, it was wonderful. And so in thinking about that, I have to believe that background was instrumental, critical in encouraging those initiatives. And so I wish that the whole public could know all of the good things that have been happening at Elm Street. But it is, as Mrs. Oden said, it's suffice to say that it's been an encouragement to hear good things and see good things happening. And so I remember before that all happened, as I say, it was an area of concern. And so we've come out of that, and so I thank you for that. I'm sure you had a big part to do with it. So now, because Mrs. Holmes is not here, how does the committee want to? Do we want to vote on Mr. Atwell first, and then?
I think we should.
Okay. So would somebody like to make that motion?
I move to approve Ian Atwell as principal at Elm Street Middle School for the 2017-18 school year at an annual salary of $96,750.
Second.
Okay. Is there, I don't think you can second, Mr.
David.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Thank you, David. I forgot you were over there. I apologize. Are there any further questions, concern, comments? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Congratulations. I don't want to say welcome to our district, but we hope you stay forever. Mrs. Oden.
Yes. Sorry. I'd like to move to go into non-public session under RSA 91A32A, the dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee, or the disciplining of such employee, or the investigation of any charges against him, unless the employee affected has a right to a meeting with two requests, an open meeting, in which case the request shall be granted.
Mrs. Oden, were you looking at B more, or is it A?
I did A because of promotion.
Okay.
Second, do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. Mortaki. Seeing no further concerns, question, all those in favor?
Roll call.
Oh, roll call. That would be you.
Okay, that's me. Mrs. Oden, yes. Dr. Murataki?
Yes.
Mrs. Ziem?
Yes,
Okay. We are now in
unanimous.
non-public session.
We are now in non-public session. Thank you. The meeting will resume, and I need a motion to seal the minutes.
Motion to seal the minutes under
Go ahead.
RSA 91A33.
Second.
Any discussion?
Okay.
So roll call.
Mrs. Oden, yes. Dr. Murataki?
Yes.
Mrs. Ziem?
Yes.
Yes.
It's unanimous.
Unanimous.
And so now do we want to make a motion? Mrs. Oden?
I will move to, let me see, nominate Kelly Holmes Kelly Holmes, Assistant Principal, Elm Street Middle School for the 2017-18 school year at an annual salary of $84,250.
Second.
Discussion? I would just like to again reiterate that these are not normal circumstances, and under the circumstances that we find ourselves in, I think we are very fortunate to have two well-qualified people, and we will be able to leave this meeting feeling comfortable that Elm Street Junior High is going to be well taken care of, and being one of our more challenging schools, I think that's a blessing. So, having said that, are there any other comments before we? All right, so this is a roll call.
No, I don't
Nope.
believe it is.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. Now, the next thing on our agenda is we are going to make a motion for, we're going to,
I hope everything's okay.
thank you for coming. Appreciate it. We're going to make a motion, somebody want to make a motion for the assistant superintendents, or shall I? It's right here. Thank you. Yeah, it's on the back. You can take it. The first one.
I move to nominate Garth McKinney, Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction for the 2017-18 school year at an annual salary of $111,550.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Again, Mr. Kaufman, I'm sorry.
Thanks. I thought, I'm just disappointed that there are no interviews. I understand time, but we knew about this a week ago, and I feel as though there should have been public interviews available. And for myself, being on the board, unable to attend a committee meeting, that shouldn't preclude me from having access to participate in an interview, especially considering we've done them in the past, where these particular positions were conducted in public, and that's what I thought was going to continue. Having said that, I have complete faith in Dr. Moseley's choice of staff, and when we get to the board, I will support these nominations. However, the good news is we shouldn't have to do this again anytime soon. We hope we have these folks and they're going to be here a while. But I think we need to be keepers of process, that the public deserves to know who our leaders who our new leaders are or will be. And we owe it to them for that introduction. So maybe we could have a similar meet and greet in some capacity that we did on Dr. Moseley's arrival, and we can do the same with his full team. Thank you.
And I would just like to say for the public, for the listening public, that Garth McKinney is currently the assistant principal at Main Dunstable Road. I would suggest that you can talk to the parents of Main Dunstable Road, and they will give him a rousing endorsement. We're very fortunate to have him in the district and have him stepping up to this position. I also would it is unusual for someone to go from assistant principal to assistant superintendent. But in looking at his resume, he has been a principal before. I think that his personal life, he traveled and changed jobs, and so I think what I want to say is that he had personal circumstances that caused him to do things a little differently than are normally done. But if you look at his resume, he was a principal before. He won Teacher of the Year. He's brilliant. I might also say to you all, he's my assessment of him is that he is so smart that he outthinks the average person before they open their mouth. So, but in addition to that, and even more important, he has those invaluable people skills. He has warmth and he's caring, and so we're very fortunate to have him. Are there any other questions, comments before we take this vote? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's unanimous. And the next nomination,
I nominate Donna Fitzpatrick, Assistant Superintendent of Accountability and Assessment for the 2017-18 school year at an annual salary of $113,550.
Second.
and so are there any questions, comments about Mrs. Fitzpatrick? She also, Mrs. Oden.
I just wanted to say she had an awful lot of experience at administration at middle school and the high school level, where Dr. McKinney has lots of experience at the elementary level. So I think they're very complementary and will be very supportive to Dr. Moseley's team. So she has many years of experience. She's looking forward to coming to Nashua, so I think we have a good match. I think we'll have a good administrative team here in Nashua.
If I can just add, she's actually going to be moving to Nashua as well. So,
We're going to nail their shoes to the floor, and that way we won't have to go through this again. Are there any other comments, questions, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
It's unanimous. And so we are now on the salary increase for the non-affiliated staff. For the listening public, I would like to share with you that this is a 2.5% increase for a total cost of $32,697. Are there questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous. Opposed? I thought David, did you second, David?
No, but I will.
Which, why don't we go back and take the vote again then? Mrs. Oden made the motion.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous, thank you. Opposed? There was nobody left to oppose, so. And finally, we have the personnel recommendations. Are there any questions about the personnel recommendations? The revised, be sure when you make the motion that it's the revised list, okay? So are you going to make the motion, Mrs. Oden?
I will make the motion to approve the revised June 12, 2017 personnel recommendations.
I'll second.
Any questions, comments, concerns? Dr. Mortaki?
Yes, I know it's very common at this time of the year to see many, many leaves of absence and resignations and only a few new nominations. I'm just kind of wanting to hear reassuring words that, in fact, this balance is appropriate and that we're not in trouble.
I think that would, Mrs. O'Gara, did you want to answer that?
We usually start our hiring process around the end of May because we have a process in the teacher contract where teachers, their intra-building transfers and transfers across the district. So I do have some packets on my desk to move forward for final interviews, and those will be coming. I have about six of them, but the schools are hiring away.
Okay, so I shouldn't be sweating because of
You shouldn't
this.
sweat yet.
Thank you. That's all I had.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Is there any other further business to come before this committee? Mrs. Oden?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you for